Prince Harry had the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to put all the royal family business in his book. But he got paid a healthy sum to do it. The question, do we believe that Prince William knocked down Harry over Meghan and that was the end of the fight? And who's to blame for that fight? We discuss next.
So what's this podcast about?
Somebody got to keep it real, you know.
Reclaiming my time by winning.
Keep my wife's name.
Catch me outside, how about that?
You're talking to
Unabashed hater.
my style is impetuous.
King Kong ain't got.
You come in with some nice waves of the black school.
You're average looking at best.
I took offense to that.
Robert.
You ain't got the answer, Sway. I have you beat.
You now have the Unmitigated Gall.
Thanks for joining the Unmitigated Gall Podcast. We talk TV, we talk movies, and we don't hold back. Today, we're talking about a book and Prince Harry's epic press run leading up to this week's release. I am the real EG. With me, a queen of a different sort. She was Team Meghan, and now she's Team tired of this mess. Hey, Valerie.
What's up, Eric? I'm so shocked because I think the last episode when we talked about the docuseries, I was like, I think this will be the last time that we talk about it, completely forgetting that Prince Harry had a book coming
nothing's
out,
over.
At the beginning.
Nothing's over.
So yeah, here we are again. I think this is the fourth time we've talked about Harry and Meghan.
Right,
so,
and as this comes out, this is the same week when the book is coming out. It's out. The book drops officially on a Tuesday. It was leaked in Spain already, but Prince Harry has an epic run of press.
What Meghan had to go through was similar in some part to what Kate and what Camilla went through. Very different circumstances, but then you add in the race element.
So the heir was jealous of the spare.
Wouldn't your brother say to you, Harry, how could you do this to me? After everything we went through, wouldn't that be what he would say?
He'd probably say all sorts of different things.
He's only doing the big shows. He's doing a big show on ITV, that's British, right?
Oh, okay.
He's doing Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes. And then he's doing GMA.
He's got an exclusive with Michael Strahan. Yeah.
Why Strahan? I wish it was any other GMA anchor. Where's Stephanopoulos? Where's Robin Roberts?
I've talked to
why Strahan?
I know. I've talked to a lot of colleagues, and I'm trying to give him a shot. A lot of people have said they don't like him. He's a former football player. He doesn't have a journalism background. A lot of people talk about the fact that he has a lisp, but he can't help that. So I don't hold that against him. But there were definitely some better.
Oh my God!
I think journalists that could have handled this interview. I was a little shocked that
he has parlayed that fame from lifting up Kelly Ripa so well. Anyway, Michael Strahan's got the interview. I wish it was someone else.
Yeah,
and
we could talk about that forever.
And then Prince Harry is going to be talking to Stephen Colbert on the Late Show. So an epic run up. Okay. So those are the big shows. So who knows what other nuggets?
Missing is like Gayle or Oprah.
Right.
They got to do Gayle at some point. I feel like,
Well, CBS box was checked by 60 Minutes. So Anderson Cooper is getting that for CBS. Right. So I guess GMA is ABC. Late Show, that's CBS too.
Yeah.
So I guess he's avoiding NBC altogether. But all right, before we get into the fight that was alleged to happen in this book, let me just
the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. Yes, toast to you.
I need a bell. Ding ding ding
ding. The Royal. Before we get to the Royal Rumble, let me just kind of list the big claims that we've already learned about in Spare. Harry and William both urged Prince Charles, now King Charles, not to marry Camilla. Charles did not hug Harry when Diana died. And these are the tame ones. The other ones, William and Princess Catherine at the time, laughed at Harry's infamous Nazi costume. So kind of encouraging him. Charles said to Diana, "Wonderful. You've given me an heir and a spare," thus the title You have done your job. So, which doesn't surprise me at all. Harry, this is one of the more salacious headlines. Harry lost his virginity in a field behind a pub at 17 to an older woman who rode him like a stallion. And then, and he's getting a backlash over this following claim that he killed 25 Taliban fighters in Afghanistan. So, any of those, spark your interest besides the fight that we'll talk about in a moment?
Right. Of course, the fight is the one that everyone, seems to be focusing on. But for me, if it's true, and again, you have to keep saying this, I think we sort of have to just go with what Harry and Meghan, or Harry at this point, is saying, because the royals in Buckingham Palace, like they refuse to comment. I think they're never going to make a comment.
Right.
I think their way of responding to this is to not respond. But to me, the biggest one out of all of those that you just read would be the fact that Charles didn't hug Harry after his mom died.
But why though? They're British royals.
What does that mean?
So British culture in general, especially where you're talking about the wealthier, right. They're not emotive people, right?
I get that. And I also saw that, like, I think when the Queen died, there was all this sort of hoopla because Harry went from around his side of the car and made sure that Meghan got in the car and then went back around. And then William didn't do that for Kate. But apparently he wasn't supposed to.
Right.
Like, he's not supposed to. So I get all that. I get that there are rules and customs and things that they're supposed to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But you're my father. And I can't remember, how old are they when their mom dies? I should have looked that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I know that Harry is not even a teenager, I believe. Is he like 11?
Right, he's still preteen.
How do you not comfort me in this moment? I will never forget it. I think it's etched in everyone's minds because I just I cry at Publix commercials. Like, I cry at anything. I cannot imagine having to have no emotion as I'm walking in front of the world behind my mother's casket.
Right.
And so I'm going through all the emotions that you're telling me I have to go through. And then you don't hug, you don't show me any kind of affection after I just lost one of my parents. That I don't understand that.
Right.
That will never make sense to me. I don't care about their rules and what they're supposed to be as royals. They're still human beings. They still have feelings and emotions. And he was a child. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That one doesn't.
But you got to understand royalty and where duty lies. Like, it's very much a duty driven thing. And think about it. Harry being called a spare is the whole fact that now he's got an heir and a spare. It's all about the succession of the line. It's all about duty. Right. So, feelings are probably very low on the list of priorities. Mm-hmm. So it's all about duty bound. It's like,
I get that, but it's like, duty bound for what? This is a fake.
Which is why Diana shook things up so much, because she was very human. She was very human. She was a strong person. She was protecting her boys from publicity. She was not taking Charles cheating on her lying down. She, was in a public war with the press. So this was an emotional person, which is contrary to what is expected from British royalty. Mm-hmm. So people loved her for her humanity, but is really not what's kind of expected from the job.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments is there's this moment, I don't know where she was, but she's like coming back and her boys are running to her and she like opens her arms, she embraces them. Like, I just never, and I guess I relate to that because, I have two sons as well. My oldest son, we actually call him Prince William because, it just so happens that's his name, but I named him after my father, not after Prince William. But she actually she's so excited to see her boys. She opens her arms, she embraces them. And you just never see that kind of like emotion or feeling or anything from King Charles now. And so I understand what you're saying about duty, but it's like, at what point are you human? At what point do you realize, like, my son is suffering? His mother just died in some tragic car accident.
Right.
I just,
and I think
I'm sure people will explain it to us in the comments. You know,
right.
Lots of comments in the on this topic, and I'm sure they'll explain it to us and what it means in Britain. It doesn't make sense to me, and I know we're looking at it from across the pond, but that will never make sense to me. If that is true,
right,
that he didn't hug his son when his mom died, I don't. There's no excuse to that for that to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know you, so it's not shocking that stood out to you. But, you know.
Which one stood out to you?
For me, it didn't. What stood out to me.
That one didn't?
No, because, you know, like, it's cultural, it's a man, and he's, you know, in line for the throne. So he's got a lot of other things that in his mind are more important. But for me, it was all about the fight.
Harry claims William described Meghan as difficult, rude and abrasive, according to the report, before grabbing his collar, ripping his necklace and knocking him to the floor.
The fight is a big one.
Yeah, the fight is the big one. And, you know, and there's always this underlying tension. You know what's never really mentioned is, and we'll probably learn more when the book comes out, is like the roles that Meghan and Kate play in the buildup of the tension that leads to the fight. Now, Meghan was apparently the immediate catalyst for the fight, right? She's rude. Hold on. What do they say? It says she was rude, difficult, and abrasive. Now, I can see difficult because she's a grown woman who came in with her own ideas about how to be a grown woman. The rude stuff is a little, you know, I don't know how much stock I put in that because there's so much that she didn't know about being a royal. Like I once read a headline that Kate thought it was rude how when they were about to make a public appearance, Meghan asked to borrow some of her lip gloss. She thought that was rude, that she, you know, like squirted some on her finger and which is such a minor thing. But if Meghan's not aware of royal decorum, that can be misconstrued as rude or just viewed as rude, but she's not aware of it. So, you know, you've got all these things that are, maybe she knows she's overstepping. And then there's things where she might not even be aware that it's rude. So you just see over and over again how like Meghan is causing this friction and Harry being Diana's son, he's following his heart, right? And William being his father's son, he's following duty and royal. So you're seeing these two sides of the family and these two ideals clash. And I'm just wondering why Harry didn't fight back. What you talking about? You ain't gonna throw me to the ground.
Well, that's the I saw one comment. Someone said, "All right, so there's that part of the story, but Harry has always sort of been depicted as like, you know, the rebel, the badass." And so they're like,
why is the badass not fighting?
So it says, you know, Prince Harry says, you know, after he grabbed him by the collar, ripped off his necklace, knocked him to the floor, where he landed on a dog bowl, which cracked under his back. And then
that's the end of the fight? And
so I'm like, okay, so what did you do?
So are they leaving
and
something
that's the part
out?
That's missing. I don't know if maybe we haven't heard part 2. Because it's for sure going to be a Royal Rumble if me and my sister,
right?
Like you grab me, you rip my necklace, you push me to the point where like I crack a dog bowl with my back. Like, okay, so what's the second part? So that is a part that's missing.
So do you think Harry just left some out, or do you think he just took that L?
You know, I don't know.
Because like you said, he's depicted, Harry's the wild one, right? He's the badass. He's the guy that killed 25 Taliban fighters, you know, all those from a helicopter.
Think also, because this happens in London in 2019, and by then it is a different Harry. But I don't know, you know. I think we have all grown and evolved as we get older. But you know, you push a certain button, and my old ways are going to come back, and I just wonder if,
especially with this family, you know, family can always push your buttons so quick.
And that's the thing. Like, if this were, you know, just some random, you know, he may react differently because people have cameras and maybe, you know, but family knows which buttons to push, and you react in a different way to family. At least I have sometimes, unfortunately, than you do to strangers, you know? So I don't know if like, are you just admitting this because you don't want us to show or know like who you really are? Or did you just really, like you said, just took that L and just like, you just got up and like, all right, well, I'm out. Like this isn't going anywhere. I don't know that I think that happened.
Which would you respect
Especially
more?
After we're having a fight about my wife.
Exactly. So which do you respect more? Do you respect more the Harry that walks away from the fight, or do you respect the Harry that lied and just omitted his part from the book?
Oh, for sure, the first one.
Oh, so you respect the Harry that walked away. Yeah, you don't want a liar.
He walked away.
Yeah, you don't want a liar.
No, I don't want a liar. If he walked away, I'm wondering if what he omitted is maybe it's so bad, or you know, that he couldn't put it in there. Like, what if he gets up and like punches William in the face, or you know, punches him in the jaw, or I don't know, slaps him, or there's a big fight and they have to get broken apart. Ooh. Like I just it is a little hard to believe that all of that happened in regards to your wife, and you didn't do anything. But
you know, there's a certain thing. So first of all, it made me like Prince William more. That, you know, okay, Prince William's got some scrap in him. You know, it ticked him off. Prince William's ready to scrap. But you know what? There are some times when two people go into a altercation, but they're at two different levels of intensity. One is coming in at like, I'm ready to fight level intensity, and the other one's just at like, I'm here to argue. And so I've seen that and I've been involved in that sometimes. I remember once I got into a fight and I didn't realize the guy I was arguing with, I was having fun with this dude, was at like fight level intensity. Yeah. Right. And so when he hit me, I just, you know, we stood it off and we let it go, but I didn't feel the need to keep it going because, dude, I didn't know you were there. You know what I mean? You know, so I didn't, and I'm just not that emotionally involved in this. So I'm thinking it could be a situation where William, he's had it up to here. He's got all this resentment towards Meghan. He sees the family coming apart. So he's seeing this stuff, and he's probably seeing into the future. And so when he confronts Harry, he's just ready to go. And Harry's from a position of just playing defense. Like, look, I don't know what you feel about this, but this is how I feel. And so that's how it could be. Now, if they're both at like level 10, okay, then I'm expecting like a Royal Rumble, as you say.
Exactly.
So,
well, in the little, you know, they've released some of the clips from the Michael Strahan interview that he's doing on GMA. He doesn't answer the question because, of course, they're going to save the answer so you can tune in. But he suggests, Michael Strahan says that Prince Harry suggests, are you saying the heir was jealous of the spare? And then they just show this shot of Prince Harry, and then of course it's like GMA exclusive, you know, whatever day it's going to air. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Strahan.
There's this, we'll see how he does with it. I thought he had some good questions of what they've shown so far, but that's sort of what's being suggested. And that's sort of what was suggested in the docuseries when they were saying, you know, that poll that was taken that Meghan was more popular, at the time than the Queen. There's that one little snippet that comes up real fast. And it does make you wonder if a lot of this is coming up because if he is the spare, it still doesn't make sense to me. So many people would have to die in order for Prince Harry. There's no threat of Prince Harry ever, especially now, ever claiming the throne. But you have to wonder if because Meghan and Prince Harry together were this like breath of fresh air that, you know, people never acted the way they did. They got all this attention. If there is some jealousy from William and possibly Kate and the rest of the royal family.
You know, I'm going to advocate for William here. I'm going to advocate for William because I would agree that there's jealousy, right? And I think he's kind of in a tough spot because just speaking from his perspective, he's saddled with kind of the King Charles the Queen's idea of tradition. But we all know at this point in time, the monarchy is pretty much just celebrities. They're celebrities. Right. And this whole media versus royals or media with the royals, it's all a celebrity game. So Prince Harry and Meghan, when they first became married and was like this refreshing new couple, they were more able to freely play the celebrity game because they didn't have this weight of expectations. Harry's never had the same expectations as William, and William has always felt it as the heir. So he's kind of in a difficult position where you're expected to get top billing because you're the heir. You're expected to get top billing, but you also have to play it tighter. You can't do the stuff that Harry can do. So he's almost set up to fail as far as like celebrity status.
And it sort of reminds me, and I know this, I'm not sure about you, but it sort of reminds me of like, well, you're the oldest, so you're supposed to do better, know better.
You got rules.
Like I was always told, you know, whenever my sister and I would get into an argument, Chevalier, you're the oldest. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
The oldest has
so
responsibilities.
It's almost expected you do, and you have more responsibility. And so if you sort of look at like Prince William and Prince Harry, you didn't really hear, I don't remember any scandal about Prince William. Prince Harry has the Nazi costume, that like party and drugs, dating all these women, but he's more beloved because he's exactly.
So all right,
that has to hurt William. It's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
And now you got my brother and his wife on the cut. Like, no, it's not how this works.
I love that we're coming together in defense of William. And another thing, so
I'm not so much coming in defense of William, but as the oldest, I definitely understand, and I understand the pressure of, well, like, but you're the oldest, you're supposed to do this.
I totally get it. I'm the oldest too. And another key bit of evidence before we wrap it up. So I read that Prince William encouraged Harry to take off his beard, to shave his beard for the wedding, even though the Queen gave him a royal pardon to keep his beard. And then I'm looking at William's hair, how he still got this 80s like bald spot and like wrap around, like, dog, just peel it. But again, William is burdened with towing the line between relevancy and tradition. So maybe he's not as comfortable just peeling it all and growing a beard. You know, he still has to look like Prince Charles's son. Whereas Harry has his freedom to just kind of explore. So I don't know. I on one hand, how could you be sympathetic to these like rich people who have maids and servants? Yeah. But on the other hand, I understand why Prince William would get to this boiling point with Harry. Like, dude, we've got all this tradition we're supposed to uphold, and you just out here gallivanting with your actress wife who shirks tradition and spits upon us. So now I got to put hands on you.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is the fact that Meghan didn't come in and just sort of go with the flow of what all British royals are supposed to do. She decided, but maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to do this. And that has really what's caused, it's not so much like her, it's just like her not wanting to do what she's supposed to do.
So her.
And going against tradition. So her, yes, her. But I think that's what's caused so much of this. Had he just maybe, married, a British girl who knew the roles and knew the traditions, I think we wouldn't have had this documentary. We wouldn't have all this internal conflict. We wouldn't have this book. But I don't know. Harry is always sort of, had his own, beat his own drum. So
the new Yoko Ono, Duchess Meghan. Final thoughts before we wrap this up, Chevalier.
You know me. I'm still not convinced that what Harry and Meghan is saying is not true. So I guess I'm Team Spare. Team Spare.
I believe I'm going to listen to the book on Audible. So I have a subscription, so I think I'm going to check it out and kind of give you some of my feedback a little later. Right now, I'm still finishing up the David Goggins, his second book. But looking forward to it and all the drama. I don't think we're done talking about this, Valerie.
Oh, okay. All right. I do think I do like the fact that, like, despite the fact that they're royals, it's like, y'all just as bad as like
messy. Just messy.
Just a hot mess. I love it.
Well, anyway.
Their families are just like ours.
Exactly.
Just with more money.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Please like, subscribe. We're going to continue to talk about these juicy topics and other great TV and movies that everyone is talking about. So like and subscribe, follow. We got more stuff coming. Thanks, Chevalerie.